Going to make a nice yummy dish today. We've got some pork loins here, and what we're going to do is fry those up, and we're going to fry them in rosemary and thyme, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then when they're sort of nice and brown on the outside, we're going to put them into a sort of sauce, gravy, an onion sort of gravy with a little bit of mustard. Delicious. So what we're going to do to this is to season it. So first of all, going to do it both sides, a little bit of salt, and then I've got some ground black pepper. I've already ground it just to sort of speed it up a little bit. Then we're going to use a little bit of thyme, pop that all over, and I've got some rosemary. So these are all kind of, you know, dried sort of, there's nothing, no fresh herbs here, it's all sort of dried. So I'm going to flip those over and do the same on the other side. Turn them over, there's plenty of seasoning on there, all the dried herbs, so I'm going to move that out of the way for now. And we're going to get on with the cooking. First of all, I'm going to put a bit of sunflower oil into the pan. Put a little bit more on because we're going to disregard this oil at the end of it. It's just really for browning off the pork loins really. Put the oil nice and hot. Pop in the pork loins, and really what we want to do is get them brown on one side. Probably take about 4 or 5 minutes each side, and then we're going to flip them over. But keep the heat on sort of medium high, I would say, sort of somewhere between the two. Just going to move that into the heat. This one's not quite in the oil there. Give it a little squash down, just to make sure they're touching the surface of the pan, and leave those cooking. I'd say about 4 or 5 minutes each side. Okay, I'm just going to flip these over. Hopefully got a nice brown colour on the outside. Look at that, lovely. And all those flavours, they sort of infuse themselves into the meat. So I'll just cook that for another 4 minutes and pull it off. Right, I finished cooking mine. They're not completely cooked, but they're nice and brown on the meat, so it's good. And what we're going to do is disregard this oil and leave any of the little bits at the bottom. What we're going to do is pop in some butter. We're going to make up the sauce now. Lower the heat a little bit because we don't want to sort of burn the butter. Just let that melt, and then we're going to put in some onion. Got one sort of large onion here. Now what we want to do with the onion is to actually try and get it sort of brown and caramelised, because you get all those nice juicy flavours out of it then. Don't worry about the bottom of the pan, because, you know, eventually that'll all come off and add to the flavours. So what I'd say is keep stirring this. We want to stir it and sort of mix it up for about 15-20 minutes. So it's really nice and brown, because that's going to add the colour to the sauce and gravy. Add a little bit of salt, because I think that sort of draws out the moisture. So a little bit of salt. Give that a quick stir. I've been cooking mine for a good 15 minutes, so I've got a really nice dark colour on the bottom of the pan, and the onions are starting to go a nice sort of caramelised sort of colour. This is where all the flavours come out of the onions. So next thing I'm going to add in is a little bit of garlic. So I'm just going to make a little plate in the middle for that. Pop the garlic in. And with the garlic I'm using probably about 2 cloves of garlic, fairly finely chopped. Now you want to put it in the middle so you can kind of keep an eye on it. Really you want to sort of brown, very lightly golden brown the garlic, but you don't want to sort of cook it too much. If you get it black, it doesn't taste so good. So keep the heat, you know, sort of a little bit lower if you need to. Been cooking the garlic for about a minute. Give that a quick stir around. Now I'm going to put in some plain flour. I'm going to put in like a tablespoon, heaped tablespoon of flour. And what you want to do is turn the heat down a little bit, and I'd say cook this for about 2 minutes. This just to take the rawness out of the flour really. Don't worry it's so dry, because in a minute we're going to put some stock in, and then we're going to add the pork loins back into that. And all these flavours at the bottom of the pan are all going to sort of lift off, and it's going to be delicious. So it's quite dry now with the flour, that's the idea. The flour sort of thickens it and dries it all out, absorbs all that butter and fat, and all those flavours. And the next thing to go in is some chicken stock. We're going to pop that in. So I'll just cook that for about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to give that a quick stir. Now we're going to add into this a little bit of single cream. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of that on there. Not too much, just a little bit. And what we do is, I've got the heat off at the moment, so just give that a quick stir. You can see it kind of changed the colour, but it's going to be really nice. Now I'm going to add a little, only a small amount of Dijon mustard. So get that all mixed up. Give that a quick stir. That's it. So next thing I'm going to do is to actually blend up the onions. So we're kind of purify a little bit. I've got mine all sort of blended up. So it's starting to look like more of a sauce. Sort of nice golden brown gravy. It doesn't matter if some of the onions still left. Now I want to just check this for seasoning at this stage. Let me try that. Got a nice mustardy taste. Lovely though. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of salt into mine, and then we're going to pop the meat in next. Okay, I've got this on a nice simmer, so I'm just going to drop those in there. Just going to put those juices in. See those juices from the meat? Great. I might just give it a quick shake up there. I'm going to leave that now for about 15-20 minutes. Keep it on a simmer. About halfway through cooking, so been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes. Give it a stir, and I think we'll just flip this one over actually, and maybe that one as well, to make sure they're all nicely covered. Looking good though, smells great. I've been simmering mine for about 20 minutes. Looks delicious, so I'm going to serve it up. I'm going to serve mine up. Got a little bit of mashed potato, green beans, and I've got some fried mushrooms there. Just going to put a bit of that lovely sauce, sort of gravy all over. Delicious. Just going to try a little bit of that. A little bit of the in there. Nicely cooked. Try that with. Looks delicious. Smells great. Lovely. That is so nice. Now obviously if you don't like the mustard, you don't have to add it and you still get a really nice gravy sauce. But it's delicious. Enjoy.